So in this video I'm going to discuss Codeforces round 923 rated for division 3. So in this video I'm going to discuss first 5 problems of this problem set. So let's now begin with problem number A. So basically in problem number A we are given a horizontal strip of white and black, and what we can do, we can simply select a contiguous subsegment of that string of that segment, and we can paint all the colors in that segment equal to white. Okay, for example, there is a segment. If I choose a segment like this, then I can make all the blacks equal to white and white remains white only. So what problem is asking us to do simply, what is the minimum possible length of a segment which I can choose in this string to make all the colors equal to white. So simply it is asking us to print the difference between the first and last occurrence of my black color. You can see, for example, my first black is occurring at index 2 and my last is occurring at index 6. So the difference between them is 4. So answer is 4. If I show a code, the code is also easy. You can see I am simply calculating the first and last index of my letter B. So difference between them is my answer. So that's how you can solve the problem number A. So let's now see the problem number B. So in problem number B, it is a pretty much interesting problem. It take a while to understood the problem clearly. For example, in this case, what we are given a, for example, there is a string s. For hypothetically, consider there is a string s of length n, but the string is lost and we does not have the string. But currently, what we have, for example, we have an array like this, and what this array represents. For example, the letter which is occurring at this index would have been occurred previously a number of times. For example, if there is a letter at this index, which means before coming at this index, it must have occurred. It must have occurred 2 times also before this. If means, for example, you can say the corresponding string could be like this: 1 2 3 4 5 6, 1 2 3 4 5 6, which means it is asking like that. This is a letter A, which means previously letter A must have occurred 2 times also. So you can see the two occurrences of letter before are A and A, this and this A. So now what they are asking us to simply, we will be given this array and we have to construct some possible string which satisfy this array condition. So how to solve this problem? So first of all, I will make a count. Like for example, um, first of all, I will make a map. Like what are the possible, and they have given that my s is always a valid, s is also always a, this is always my valid array, which means that my 0 cannot become at most 27 times, greater than 27 times, because they cannot be unique 27 characters. So there will be at most 26 number of zeros in my array. Okay, so this is the condition which is given to me. So how to solve the problem? So first of all, what I will do simply, I will simply map all the numbers which whose occurrence is 0. For example, like suppose this is, for example, I will map all the letters whose occurrence is 0. For example, at first, my all the letters in my alphabet will having 0 occurrence. For example, my A, B, to Z, all the characters will having a 0 occurrence. Now, if at any point I am occurring a 1, if at any point, if I, for example, let me start from begin. If I am occurring a 0, okay, if I am occurring a 0, I will simply pick the first character from my 0 array and print it, okay, and erase that. Now I am again occurring a 0. Okay, I will again pick the second number which is B and erase the B also. Right. But meanwhile, while erasing them, now you can see if my this characters are occurred one time, then it can now occur at most 1 times. Which means if any of the time I am getting one in my array, getting one in my array, I can simply print I can simply print A comma A and B also, because my A has previously occurred 1 times, or I can say 0 times according to array. So I will erase from my 0 and 1 0 array, I will insert in my next array, which is 0 plus 1 1 array. So let now my next number is also 0. So next number which here would be C. So I will erase C from here and insert C in one array and print C also. Now I'm getting a 1. Now to print the corresponding letter V1, I will check my array. I will check my one array. In my one array, my first character is A. I will print A. Okay. Now what I will do, I will simply erase A from here and print and send A into that array in which my 2 is there. For example, I will now store the that characters whose 2 occurrences are completed. Now you can see my A is 2 occurs is complete. Like number 1 is here, number 2 is here. I will simply send A to this one array. Okay. Now I'm again getting a 0. If I'm again getting a 0, then my next character would be D. So I will simply erase D from here and print it here in my answer and send D to the next array, which is one array. I will send D to here. Now suppose I am getting a 1, again a 1. Suppose I am getting a 3. Now if I am getting a 3, I will simply try to check what is the what's the possible. For example, let's suppose I'm getting a 1, I'm getting a 2. Before 3 I will get a at most 1 aggressive 2. So if I am getting a at most 1 aggressive 2, I will simply select the first character in my 2 array, that is 1. I will simply erase from here and print it here. And also by the way, this is not synced with this array. I'm giving an example. So let's suppose if I'm erasing this, so what I do, I will simply send my A to array whose frequency is 3. Now if at any point I am now encountering a 3 in my array, for example in this case I'm encountering a 3, then I will check my third array. In my third array my first element is A. I will simply erase A from here, print it here in my answer, and simply send A to the next array, which is 4. Okay, 4. So now you may ask, what is the time complexity and space complexity of this? So at most at every time, my 26 characters will be circulating among these number only, because they're 26 unique characters. And in similar way, you can print the answer also. So if I show the code, what I'm doing, I'm simply first of all inserting the all the characters in my zero array. Okay, I'm taking a map for usage, easy usage. So I'm first simply inserting the all the characters in my zero array. Okay, I have inserted. Now what I'm doing, I simply if at any point I'm encountering a of I will simply I will simply take the character at the first point in my map. Okay, for example, this is my 0, this is a map of 0. I will simply select the first character, which is in this case A. So I will simply get the A and print to my answer. Now what I will do, I will simply erase my character from my previous A of I. Okay, I will erase it. Now in the next part, what I will do, I will simply insert that character in my next array, which is A of I plus 1. For example, this is 0, I will insert it in one array. Okay, I have inserted that array. So in the similar fashion, you can print the answer, and it is a pretty much clear implementation of the problem number B. So let's now discuss the next problem, which is problem number C. So in problem C, we are given two arrays, array A of n size and array B of m size, and an even integer number k. Okay, now what we can do, we have to choose exactly k by 2 numbers from both the arrays, such that if I put all the numbers if I put all the numbers selected, if I put all the numbers selected from both the arrays, then all the numbers between 1 to k should be included in that set. For example, in this case my k is 6 and my these two array are this. So what I can do, I can simply select 2, 3, 6 from array A, okay, and value 1, 4 and 5 from array B. So in this case you can see all the values from 1 to k are coming 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and k exactly k by 2 values from B and exactly k by 2 values from A. So in this case my condition is correct. Okay, so now what they are asking us to simply, we will be given two arrays A and B and an integer number k. Now we have to tell them whether there is a way in which I can choose k by 2 numbers from A and B, such that all the numbers from 1 to k are included in the subset of both the k by 2 elements. So how to solve this problem optimally? Okay, so I will show the way I have solved this problem. So first of all, what I was doing, I will simply now I will write this example text only. Okay, now great. So what I will do simply, I will simply first of all make two sets. Set A, this is set A, and I will print. I will make a set B. Okay. Now in set A, I will store all the numbers which are smaller than k and presenting in my array A. Suppose this is my array A and this is my array B. I will write it here A and this is B. So first of all, I will put all the elements which are smaller than k in and present in array. That is in this case 2, 3, and 2, 3, 5 and 6. Okay, similarly for B also, that is 1, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, now I will start greedily. For example, I have to satisfy a condition, that my all the numbers between 1 to k should be there in my super subset. Okay, 5 and 6. Okay, now greedily what I will do simply, I will simply check whether my 1 is present in my both the sets. Okay, here you can see my 1 is only present in set B. Okay, so I will simply erase from here, or I can say I will simply erase 1 from here and simply increase a count, because you know I have to satisfy a count that exactly k by 2 elements should be from set B and should exactly k by 2 elements from set A. So I will simply increase a count for set B, that is now set to 1 because I have taken one element. Now 2. Here you can see my 2 is also present only in set A, not in set B. So for set A, I will also increase my count to 1. Okay. Now I will come to 3. Now you can see my 3 is also occurring in this array and also occurring in this array. Now what I will do, I will simply make a global variable like both. Both means that my this much element are occurring in both the arrays. So I will simply increase my both by 1. Now I will occur 4. Now you can see 4 is only occurring in set B. So I will increase my set B to 1. That is equal to 2. Now my 5. You can see my 5 is also occurring in my both the arrays. Here you can see 5 and 5. So I will increase my both. That is this variable to 2. Okay. This is also done. Now 6. Now you can see 6 is also coming only in one array. That is set B. I will increase my set B to 2. Now this is the final result. This is the count A, count B and both. Now what condition I have to satisfy? I have to satisfy a condition like my count A should be exactly k by 2. My count B should be exactly k by 2. Now my count A is already 2 and my count B is already 2 because these two are unique numbers which only they can satisfy, which means these two numbers B cannot satisfy and these two numbers A cannot satisfy. Okay. Now this is a deficient condition, you know, because both of them are smaller than k. Now I will make use of both array. Both numbers which are coming in both the array A and array B. If somehow I can distribute this number among these two, for example, I can distribute, because if there is a way I can distribute these number in this array and this array, such that both the array A and array B become greater than or equal to k by 2, then my condition is satisfied, else my condition is not satisfied. So this is the whole intuition of problem number C. So if I show its code, first of all what I am doing, I am simply making two set, that is set A and set B. I am inserting all the numbers which are smaller than k in set A of the array A and all the integers which are smaller than k in array B into the set B. Okay. Now I'm maintaining three variables, count A, count B and both. As I have mentioned, this is count A, this is count B and this is both variable. Okay. Now what I will do simply, I will simply check if my current I will simply add it from I to 1 to k because I have to satisfy this condition, right? I will simply add it from 1 to k. Now while iterating, I will check whether my current I is occurring in both the sets. This is set A is also occurring, which means my I is also occurring in set A and also occurring in set B. Then I will increase my both count. This is both count and erase from both the sets. Okay. If and only if my set A is only occurring my ith element, then I will simply increase my count of A and erase st from and erase ith character from set A. Else I will check if my current I is only occurring in set B, then I will increase my count of B and erase from set B. Else I will simply print no because that number is not occurring in any of the array. Then in that case you can know I will never get my answer. So I will simply print no. Now in the end what I will do simply, I will simply find. For example, you can here in this case you can see my count A is 2 and my count B is 2. What should be total count of A plus B? What is the minimum possible count of A? That is equal to n by 2, k by 2, sorry. And what is the minimum possible count of B? That is also k by 2. So what I will do simply, I will simply check whether what is the total sum of A and B. The total sum of A and B should be equal to k. I will check whether k minus A, this is count of A plus count of B. So this is a deficient condition. For example, in this case, my deficient would be 2. For example, in this case, my k is 6 and my occurring of both these two numbers minus 2 minus 2, that is equal to 4 and 2, which means I am deficient of 2 number. I will check whether my both condition can satisfy these two. I will simply check this condition only. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm simply calculating the minimum of k by 2 count of A, comma minimum of k by 2, comma count of B minus k. That's why I'm getting a deficient condition, which means that this is the total number of cases which if anyway I can distribute my both number in my A count of A and count of B such that my both the count A count B become greater than k by 2 or equal to k by 2. That means I am satisfied my condition and I have simply print yes. What I'm doing here simply you can see if my both the minimum of both the numbers minus k is somehow smaller than both, which means I can divide both, which means I can make I can make the division conditions fully satisfied using the both variable or the integer which are coming in both the arrays. Then I will simply print yes, else I will simply print no and return. So that's how you can solve problem number C. So let's now discuss the problem number D. It is also interesting problem which I like very much. So in this problem what I am asking us to is simply we will be given an array A of n integers and q queries. For each query I have to tell whether there exists two integers a and whether there is two integers I and j such that I and j are not equal and then both I or j are coming inside my ln r. ln r is range given to me in each query. Okay, now I have to tell whether there exist two integers I and j such that my a of I is not equal to a of j, and and if this condition is not satisfied, which means all the numbers between L to R are equal, then in that case I have to simply print minus 1. You can say minus 1. Else I have to print the two indexes such that indexes are not equal and between L and R. So this is the problem number D. So let's now discuss this intuition. So I will simply dry run on this array. How you can solve this problem? Okay. First of all, I will make a prefix array. What prefix array I will tell you. First of all, I will check. For example, this is one. My you can see my prefix array first element will always be one. Now I will simply check. Let me take another color. Like it is always one. This is prefix array. I will check if my previous element is equal to current element. Yes, it is equal to previous. It is equal to current element. Then I will not update this prefix array. I will simply write it one only here. Now you can say in this case my 2 is not equal to 1. Then I will simply increase my this and place it here that is equal to 2, because in this case my 1 and 2 are not equal. Now in this case my whether these two are not equal, yes, my 1 and 2 are not equal, again not equal, then I will simply increase the count, like I will make 2 to 3. Okay, now you can see my whether my 1 and 1 are equal, yes, my 1 and 1 are equal, so I will simply place 3 only here. Now you tell me if I gave you query like query is like 2 comma 4. Now tell me whether there exist any numbers which are not equal between 2 and 4. How you can check? Now you can see if my all the numbers between 2 and 4 equal. For example, like this is a like valid array. Now you can see what is the prefix sum of this. The prefix sum of this array would become like 1, 2, 2, 2 and 3. Okay. Now you can see. Now you tell me in this array. First of all, in this array, whether all the numbers between 2 and 4 are equal. You can say that yes, all the numbers are equal. But how we can justify from this prefix array? You can say if my prefix array of right hand side that is 2 and my prefix at point r are equal, which means there is none of the number which is not equal, which means all the numbers between these two ranges are equal. So in this case you can simply check if my prefix of I is equal to prefix of j, or I can say prefix of left is equal to prefix of right. Then in this case I will simply print -1 and -1. My condition can never be satisfied. But how to check whether there is a index in which whether there exists two indexes such that both the values are not equal. So let's suppose I'm giving you this test only. Suppose now in this test case, let me take a query. So in this case, let me take my query. Like there's an index like 1, 4. Now tell me whether there exists two integers between 1 and 4 which are not equal. By seeing this here, you can simply say that yes, there are existing two arrays, there are existing two elements which are not equal. That is what this and this. But how to find using, because you know I cannot traverse this whole for each query. I have to tell it in oven using this prefix sum only. So you can see my prefix sum at 0 is this, and my prefix sum at, I can say my prefix sum at 1 is this, and my prefix sum at 4 is this, which means there are some two indexes, which means you can see my both of these values are equal, which my 1 is not equal to 3. Yes, my 1 is not equal to 3, which means there is existing a pair of integer I comma j such that my value of I comma j is not equal, and that is, you can say, when these two pair is valid, when these two pair is also valid. So you can simply check. But how to print that index? That is also simple. Let me tell you why. You can simply check. You can simply, now there's a simple observation, like I have given a query like 1 and 4. You can tell me like, if my 1 or 4 are not equal, that means there is existing a index at which my inversion is coming, which means my both indexes are not equal, which I have to set it, which I have to find that index also. Okay. Now you tell me, if at any point my two indexes are not equal, then what I am doing? I'm simply increasing my count. Yes, that is 1. I am increasing to 2. Here you can see my 2 and 1 are also not equal. Then what I am doing here, in the prefix array, I am also increasing. Oh, I am also increasing, right? Now, which means at the increasing point, which means in the prefix array, at the point I am increasing my sum. That is a point at which my two indexes are not equal. For example, in this case, my 1 is increased by 2, which means at this index and at the next index, the values would not be equal. Okay, so simply I can find this index using binary search. For example, let me take another test case to make it more clearly. Let me take this test case only. Like, great. So what I will do, simply I will simply make a prefix array. So prefix of this would be like 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and this is 5. Oh great. My all the numbers are not equal, which means if I pick any of the pair, that pair would always contain different elements. So let me take another test case. Let's suppose it will be looking good. Yes, I can debug this more clearly. No, okay, great. So how to make a prefix array? First of all, the number at 1 is this. Now it is increased by 2 because these two indexes are not equal. Now this two indexes are equal, so I will not increase it. It will remain 2 only. Now here it will be 3. Now here it will also be 3. Now here it will be 4. Now you tell me, if I gave you a query like index 2 and 3. Now you can see my at index 2 my value is 2. Okay. At index 3 my value is also 2, which means there is none of the index which is changing, which means my all the numbers between 2 and 3 are equal. So in this case I will simply put -1 and -1. Now you tell me how to find the index at which my value is increasing. So let's suppose if I gave you a query like 2 comma 4. Okay, if I gave you a query like 2 comma 4, in the 2 comma 4 you can simply say that my value at 2 is 2, and the value at my 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4. My value is 4 is 3. Now you can simply say my 2 is not equal to 3. That is prefix. That is what I am getting from prefix, which means there is an inversion, or there is an index I comma j such that my I is not equal to j. Okay. Now how to find that index? That is also easy. You know that my prefix array would always increase. Okay, it is always in increasing order. And if my prefix is increasing, for example, my prefix at L is this and prefix R point is this, which means there must be a point at which it is increasing, and at the increase point there is inversion. Now to find the inversion, I will simply use a binary search. You can know, because if my binary search, but how? I can simply use a lower bound function, or I can say upper bound function. How upper bound function? There's a Lucas, please let the upper bound function in C++ for better understanding. This is a prerequisite. Okay, great. Now tell me. Now explain. Now I will explain how we can find it. Now you can see, if my 2 is not equal to 3, how what I am getting? My 2 is not equal to 3, which means there is a point at which my 2 is increasing to 3. Now I will simply find that index. I can simply find using lower bound, like lower bound in C++, in the prefix array, or I will, sorry, upper bound in C++. in the prefix array, which means I will use a prefix array, and I will simply print my prefix of let's suppose my prefix of left in this case, which means I will get the first index in my prefix array at which is greater than my prefix of L, which means I will try to find first value in this prefix array which is greater than my 2, that is this index. So that's what I am asking. So if at any point when this value is increasing in my prefix array, you can see in this case this value is increasing in my prefix array, you can say my prefix of L is 2. Now at what point my 2 is increased to 3, that is this point. I will simply get this in log n operation. Log is in upper bound function. Now you can see if my 2 is increased by 3, which means in original array also this is creating an inversion, which means these two indexes are not equal. So I will simply print that index. So this is how the proper implementation of problem number D. If I show his code, first of all, but I'm making a frequency array. My frequency of 0 will always be 1. If any point my frequency of a of I is equal to frequency of a of I minus 1, then in this case I will never increase my current frequency, else I will be going by increasing my frequency by 1. Now using a query, what I'm doing, if my frequency of L is equal to frequency of R, in that case I will simply put minus 1 and return. Else I will using upper bound function in C++ and on the frequency array, and I will find the first index in the frequency array which is greater than my frequency of L, and I will simply print my L, because my L is a data index which is this, and at what point it is changing at that index at which my frequency of the corresponding number is increased. At what point is increased, it is increased at the next index, that is index which I'm getting using load upper bound function. So I will simply print L plus 1 and index plus 1 and simply return. So this is the whole implementation problem number D. So let's now discuss the last problem which I was able to solve in this problem set, that is problem number E, Klever permutation. So in this question, but this is a basic, I can say, observation type problem, not just that this much only. So I will be given two integers n and k. Okay. Now what I have to tell them, whether now I have to give them array A of length n, such that if I choose any array, any subarray of size k in my array A, such that the maximum sum of that k segment and minimum sum of the k segment, the difference between both of them should be less than or equal to 1. Let me repeat it again. For example, in this case, my length of array should be 10 and my k should be 4. So in this case, what is he asking us to simply, I have to find an array in which the if I find all the sums of 4 length in my segment. Okay, for example, this is a 4 length, this is a 4 length, this is a 4 length, this is a 4 length. Then every pair of the sum, for example, I will find the sum of all these 4 size subarrays. Then any of the subarray should any and then at any point the sum between two subarrays should not be exceeded by 1. Okay, you can see the sum should not be exceeded by 1. So how you can solve this problem? So there is a pretty much very good hint in the example itself. For example, in this case you can see, but let me debug it here. For example, in this case my n is 13. Okay, my k is 4. Now what is they are giving? They are given my answer is this. So I will tell you answer from this subarray only itself, the input array itself. That is 10. It will come here, right? So how? Which means basically what is question asking you to simply to find the sum of, for example, this subarray. So find the sum of this subarray. To find the sum of this subarray. For example, this subarray, this subarray. Now maximum sum of these subarray among this subarray and minimum sum of among this subarray should not be greater than or equal to 1, or I can say should be less than or equal to 1. This condition should always be satisfied in my array. Now what is a hint? I was talking about hint. There is a hint in answer. So what is a hint? Now you can tell me, for example, this is my subarray of size k. Now you can tell me if any of the subarray can't exceed a limit of 1. Okay. Now in which if I'm having a subarray like 13, 4, 9 and 1. Okay. So by going on the next array, by going to the next array, I will simply I will simply exclude this 13 and I have to include a number. Okay. Now there is also condition like the sum between these two numbers, the sum of these numbers and the sum of these numbers should always be smaller than or equal to 1. Okay, this is also condition. And also tell me I'm removing this and adding a number here. Also, the sum between these two should also be greater than 1. Let me repeat it again. For example, let me prove this mathematically. For example, I have like 13 plus 4, like I'm having a sum of 13, 9, 4 and 1. And difference between these and another pair which will always be contain 9, 1, 1 and another number dash that should be less than or equal to 1. So by using this condition you can simply say my 4, 4, 9, 9 and 1, 1 would be disuse, and I have to subtract a number from 13 such that that is the difference between them is smaller than 1. So that what is that number? So simply that number can be 12 itself. Yes. If I subtract 13, if I subtract 12 from 13, that is more than or equal to 1. Great. Yes. So that is a condition. So I will simply put 12. You can see in this answer my 12 is also occurring. Okay, great. You can see my 12 is occurring in the next occurrence. Yes, my 12 is occurring in the next occurrence. Now you tell me if there is a next sequence like 4, 9, 1 and 12. Now in the next part I have to I have to remove the 4 and include another number that is equal to dash suppose now. And the sum between these four numbers and sum between these four numbers should be less than or equal to 1. Yes, it should be less than or equal to 1. So in that case, I have to simply increase this number slightly. Or I can say, I can either increase this number or decrease this number. So I will simply increase it to 5. In that case, you can see that is increased to 5. You can see my 4 is increased to 5. And similarly, in this case, so this is the whole problem intuition. I can say at every four segments, my number is either increasing or decreasing. You can see my at four at my you can see my k is 4. So plus 4, 13 plus 4 that is equal to I am coming here. That is that is next fourth index that is 12. Now what is the next fourth index but 12? That is this that is 11. You can see 13, 12, 11. Now what is the next index? That is 11 is now reduced to 10. Okay, great. So that's how you can solve this problem. For suppose this is now if I clean this, and now you can say if it is 4, now you can see 4 this index plus 4 index more, it is 5, it is increased by 1. Now plus 4 more, it is increased by 1, it is increased by 1, that is 6. Now here it is for example here it is 9. 9 plus 4, that is I am getting 2 in this index, this is equal to 8, that is 9 plus 1 8. 8 plus 4 that is equal to 7. Here you can see the whole power of intuition is itself an example only. So what I'm doing simply, I'm simply reducing my number in the occurrence of 4 only. So this is how you can solve this problem. So if I have to tell you how you can greedily do this by skipping the number properly, so I will show the code for that part. For example, what I'm doing, I simply make a start. Like my first number will always be 10 only. So let me debug to 13,4 only. So my first number will always start, that is str. Now what I'm doing simply, if my current number is modulus to 2, which means it is a odd index or it is a even index. Okay, if it is even index, I will simply iterate from 0. Okay, 0. Now I will get to next fourth index. Okay, for example it is 13, I will make the next as 12. For example it is 13, I will make the next, for example how many spaces I will have. Total spaces I have 13, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 and 13. Great. Now my first value should always be equal to 13. I will get it 13. Now I will make a loop. I'm using a loop like I'm now skipping next k parts. and assigning the str minus 1 to the next index, that is 4, in this case 13. 1 2 3 4, here it will come 12. Now 1 2 3 4, here it will come 11. Now 1 2 3 4, here it will come 10. Great. Now at the next point, I will indicate my current indexes. You can see my current index is what it is. It is a odd index, which means it will come in this loop. Now in that case, I will start iterating from the last. Okay, how I'm start iterating from the left. For example, where I left, I have left from here. I have left from here. Now what I have to, I will simply pass it. I will come to this index. That is a which should be filled at this point. At this position, I will come to this index. You can say I will simply increasing my j while it is smaller than n and increasing it one time, because I will come here. Now by decreasing it by k, I will now again come back to this position. Now at this position, I will simply place str what I have left, that is equal to 10. Then I will simply put 9 here and decrease the k by k parts, because in this case you can see I am at even index. I can say I am at odd index. In odd index, I will simply iterate from last, that is 9, and here it will be 8, and here it will be 7. And now I am getting a even index. Now in this case, what I am doing, I simply print. You can say I will simply print 6, and here it will be 7, and here it will be wait a minute, here will be 6, it will be 5, and because I'm decreasing, it will be 5 and it will be 4. Okay, now it is now 6, because it is a, now you can see now it is a even index. Because in the cases of even index, what I'm doing, I'm simply going to last and starting filling my array from the last itself. That is, it will be 3, and it will be 2, and it will be 1. So that's how you can implement the problem tree also. So if you have any doubt in these 6 problems or these 5 problems, you can comment it down, and I will share all the code in the comment below. And please don't forget to subscribe my channel, and please do like, comment, share, subscribe, all the things you can do. So it will giving me motivating. So this is also a video I was planning on a great topic of my life update. So I will tell you later that part also. So stay tuned for the next part, and please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.